Hello there, I'm Callum and welcome to the EU in Review, where I review the Star Wars Expanded Universe as I experience it. And this time I'm going to be talking about issues 3 to 5 of the Tales of the Jedi series, which are subtitled The Saga of Nomi Sunrider. Now I broke this up because, as I mentioned in my previous review, it seemed a bit odd to sort of put two storylines where the first storyline of qel-droma and the Beast War of Onderon were the first two issues, and then the Saga of Nomi Sunrider were these three issues. So I will start by saying it's issue 3, it starts, and then goes issues 4 and issues 5 of the Tales of the Jedi series. But first off, I just want to note that this is really cool as well. Now, I haven't only heard about Nomi Sunrider because I haven't read these comics before, and it's a really good origin story for her character, and that's pretty much what you're looking at here. And it leads into some of the bigger events that are in the future comics, but is a great origin story for Nomi, and how she comes to become a Jedi, and eventually, as if by now you haven't heard, Nomi Sunrider becomes Jedi Master, but that is yet to happen in what I've read so far. But I really love the covers. This is the cover for issue 3. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. This is the cover for issue 4, which is quite different sort of theme, but also really good. I really like it. And the issue 5 cover is her with a lightsaber going at it, which is really cool too. This is written by Tom Veitch, and these are actually illustrated not by Chris Gossett as in the previous two issues, but by Janine Johnston. So I really like the art in that as well. There is sometimes a different cover artist, sometimes not. You'll just want to check for the individual issues. Anyway, that's pretty much my non-spoiler section, but other than that, I really like the art. Great origin for Nomi Sunrider. Boom. I'll get into my thoughts as I read it. So issue 3, because it's issue 3 of 5, and the other two are issue 1 and 2. This is the cover I really love. I would want to get the art of this cover separately. It sets up with Nomi and her husband Ander going to Master Thon in the Stennis system, and they're also with their daughter as pictured on the cover. Her daughter is Vima Sunrider, which also connects in with some later things because I know the name Vima, but anyway. The Stennis system actually made me think of the Stenexes in the classic Marvel run. So, but obviously it's a different place, but the similarity in names made me think of it. And it's cool how Tom Veitch is connecting Vima Sunrider into like the Vima Deboda part, with at least the name connecting into Vima Deboda in Dark Empire. And because it's the same author, it's nice to see that. It's also cool how hyperspace beacons are relied upon for hyperspace jumps at this point in Tales of the Jedi. That's another technological thing that really shows the era that they're in, and I like that. And it didn't actually come up in the last two issues when Ulic K and Todd Danita went to Onderon. They did not mention about the hyperspace jumps needing the beacons to be relied upon to jump. They just went there and done. Which is interesting to know that they introduced it sort of more through issue 3 here. And of course there's another hut. And this one at least is not trying to be nice like in Golden Age of the Sith and Fall of the Sith Empire with Gavin Jory Daragon. But he is making money, he wants to make money and makes a move against Nomi and Vima. Well, the whole group of them. He's mainly going to look after Ander, and they have a droid with them, 3D, that looks more human-like in features, which I think is interesting, and I'll show what I mean as I find the page. Alright. Yeah, there's a good one. Look in the corner here, you can see it looks very much like a human. That is 3D the droid, that is silvery. Oh, silvery. Coloured in grey, there. You get the idea that he's silvery, because that's how it goes. He ends up getting bumped into by thugs, and I like how he causes more trouble, or it causes more trouble, by stating to the thug that, oh, you bumped into me on purpose. I'm like, you stupid droid! But I guess, of course, they will never have the programming for conflict avoidance there. The anti-droid sentiment is pretty cool. And it was so wholesome with those family. And it escalates so quickly from the thug, and of course the hut was behind it. But those thugs that bumped into the droid were a diversion, and then a third guy sicked a poisonous creature on Andrew and killed him. Andrew probably. And it's like, he's actually dead? What? That escalated quickly. But also the poisonous creature reminded me of the Kahons in Attack of the Clones that Zam Wessel tried to sneak into Padme's room. So there's a little connection to the prequels, and this was released beforehand. I didn't know when these were released. This was released in 1993. And it's an epic moment how Anders' ghost comes up and leaves a final message for Nomi, and this empowers her to just go, I'm taking up the lightsaber and slaughtering all the thugs in self-defense, basically. And that actually encourages her to lean into the Force, which she was scared of and veered away from, and save their daughter and herself in self-defense. Nomi landing on the planet and following her instincts to find Master Thon herself with Vima. She is still very hesitant. She's very traumatized by what she did because she doesn't like killing people and all that. But she thinks, oh, I've got to go to Master Thon. That's the last thing I can do. That's the thing that will actually protect me and also help train my daughter to be a great Jedi. And they have the Hutt sail barge coming up, and it looks very much like the one in Return of the Jedi. There's not much difference in the appearance of it, which I thought, yeah, 1993 versus that was the sail barge look, I guess. It's interesting that Chubbed, which is the recurring thug, the one that sicked the poisonous creature onto Ander, is a Chadra fan, and it's really cool to see some different aliens in the thugs there. They introduced a new Jedi that's in training as well. The thugs come along and try and get the that's right, the Adegan crystals. Why did my brain? Oh, I didn't note that was why I killed him. That's why. The Adegan crystals they wanted to get rich off because Ander was taking Adegan crystals to Master Thon. So and if you don't know Adegan crystals, that's basically the catch-all term, at least at this point in time, for lightsaber crystals. But yeah, that's why they wanted to make money off of him. And then it's interesting how the Hutt following, they find this new Jedi and Vima and Nomi coming to him. And then the creature that is with this new Jedi comes along and defends them. And it reveals that the creature is none other than Master Thon. It's a cool Yoda-esque reveal where they're like, we didn't expect this creature to be a Jedi Master, but also done in a different way, so it's cool and unique. So I really like that part of it. And it's a different species that is intelligent enough to be classed as one of the alien species in Star Wars compared to, say, here's some Bronskas and stuff. Technically they'd be an alien species, but usually just think of them as different species on different planets, rather than intelligible alien species. Anyway. It's really interesting how Master Thon talks as well, because it seems like you need the Force to understand him. Then it goes into issue 4. Work out myself. Issue 4. which opening intro gives names to some things because they do the summary. A3DO is the full name for 3D, a great bogger the Hutt, which is the Hutt, and the poisonous creature they called the Gormworm. So we didn't actually get the names for those during the comic, but it gives the names for them in this intro section, which is like the opening crawl. The main difference I found with this one is that Nomi's hair is drawn differently and coloured differently, because in the previous issue she had it looked like she looks more similar to Aura Singh, where in some ways, not all the ways, but how she had a receding hairline but red hair. But in this one she has a more full forward head of hair and she's got brown hair, which I'm like, and it goes throughout the issue as well. So I'm like, anyway. It spends time on Nomi's uncertainty and questioning, which I think is great to show where she's at the time. She doesn't really want to train as a Jedi. She doesn't want to touch a lightsaber at all because she doesn't want to kill people. And it's really cool. It's a cool idea to have a giant insect exoskeleton as a ship hull. I thought that was really cool. And it's interesting how Oswellum, the other Padawan of Thon's, I didn't mention his name before, connects in, and it runs parallel to the first 2 issues of the story. Because this is set a bit during those events, and he's sent off to go, you go help with the Freedom Nat uprising. It's going to be happening over here, and the mission that they have, because it's really important. There's a nice callback to Jabba's palace with the eyeball sticking out on the entrance of Bogger's palace. I'll have to find that. It also has Dawanawanga, so we gotta have that. Dawanawanga. 3 words, and I'm yours. Dawanawanga. And then the whole part with Bogger feels very much like Jabba, but in this time period, so they obviously have a Jabba equivalent. And I also noticed that Vima has an Ewok toy right here. Merchandising. There's an Ewok toy that Vima Sunrider is holding on to, which is pretty cool. I like seeing that. And then it's interesting how Nomi refuses to create a lightsaber, and that whole dynamic there. And it ends with a demonstration of a captured dark side creature from Lake Nath, Catrice, which is one that Bogger owns, killing one of Captain Finhead Stonebone's crew to get him to go and kill Master Thon, because he's angry at all of that and he wants to eat Eden Crystal still and whatnot. But more is after revenge for killing his goons, which is quite the development. And then we go to issue 5. Really nice art as well. It's interesting that as Catrice returns to Bogger, it sinks its teeth into the Hutt's flesh, so it's not really tame, but it doesn't really bother Bogger. Oh, Bogger. Anyway, it doesn't really bother Bogger because the Hutts have such thick flesh and everything. Master pulls out a holocron to teach Nomi, and it is Master Ood Inna. I'm wondering if this is the same Ood as in Golden Age of the Sith, or if it's a different one because it didn't have him in the crystalline thing with the gas that he needed to breathe for his species. The history that the holocron goes through could be between Jedi and Dark Jedi, like the whole conflict there, or it could be between Fall of the Sith Empire and this series, because there's definitely a gap, and the conflict between Jedi and Sith and all that could definitely still apply to either gap. And Master Thumb really seems to push the lightsaber. He's like, every time he gets a mention, he's like, Nomi, use the lightsaber. I'm like, come on dude, give her a break. She obviously needs some space. When she's ready, she'll pick it up. And then the events end up pushing her towards needing to take action and using the lightsaber anyway. So if he'd waited, taught her some things, And then during the moment later on, don't say it as often, but go, come on Nomi, take up the lightsaber. And it would be even better, wouldn't it? It's a good pure Thumb. He kind of looks like an armadillo crossed with a dinosaur. That's what I thought, anyway. I don't know what you guys would think if you look at that, but that's what it looked like to me. And Nomi turns pirates on Hutton forces in the end. The hut hired by Finhead Stonebone, well, hired to get it back, and then the Hutton forces come as well, so she ends up sinking into battle meditation without even training for it properly, which is a bit like, okay. But she did have a couple of moments before where she slipped into the Force, and it's showing that it's her natural talent, and she sort of has an idea of how to use it. She needs to trust the Force more. And what Master Thumb was doing, we might not have seen all of it, was also nurturing some of that natural skill. So I think that's what happened there. She takes up the call to action. This was classic hero story. She rejects it, and then finally when she really needs to, takes on the call to action. And it's a really good view of Thumb's lightsaber when Nomi holds it up. It does look a bit more like a Sith's design for a lightsaber hilt than it would a Jedi. But that does reflect the different type of creature Thon is as well. Thon's lightsaber changes colour in one panel, which is what we got, as Nomi fights alongside Thon, which is pretty cool. And there's a good quote from Thon saying, "No one wants enemies." And I should find that actually to read out some of the cool things he says. He says, "No one wants enemies, but enemies can be useful. They force us to reach beyond ourselves, to find courage." Which is a really good quote, and I like that. And it's a cool ending, I like it. It's basically the origin story from Nomi, because I didn't really know what it would be from starting going into it, because I didn't look up spoilers or anything. And the last time I looked at Wikipedia, the stuff was ages ago. And it says her story to be continued in the Freedom Uprising. But yeah, one of the main things that stands out to me was the great importance of battle meditation, how it turns the battle in issue 2 of the Tales of the Jedi series, and also how it's so intertwined with Nomi Sunrider's story. And that's her basically talent is the battle meditation, which is quite interesting. So yeah, that's my thoughts so far on that. What do you guys think? I'm interested to hear your thoughts and to actually talk to everyone. And don't forget you can subscribe for more Star Wars Expanded Universe content, as I am making that my primary content. And I'll see you in the next video. Hope you enjoyed. Cheerio!